Good evening. How are we all? Excuse me. Awesome, Dad. Check out that. Yeah, listen. Thank you very, very much for tuning in tonight. I was getting a wee bit worried because as it was playing the intro thing, there was absolutely nobody tuning in. And then one person appeared, and then it went to 3, and then it went back down to 1. And I always think to myself, why, if there was nobody watching this, would I continue? I'm not too sure, actually. Anyway, listen, I am live due to popular demand, or maybe that's pushing it a wee bit. I have got absolutely nothing to talk about tonight. I see that all the time. Excuse me, I've got my delicious Mike and Elks Mega Mix. Still got some of these left. Lovely. Who have we got in tonight? Now we've got, according to that, there's 7 people. We've got Mark Whatever. We've got LFC. We've got Stream Elements. Oh, hang on, he's a bot. And we've got the Oxmeister. Good evening, guys. I hope you're and Dale Boy. I hope you're all fine. I don't mind admitting it's been an absolute bastard of a week. Yeah, job wise, it's been a bit shit. I don't mind admitting that. It's been a bit shit. For different reasons, which I'm not going to go into on social media for obvious reasons. Good evening, Cauldron. How are you, mate? It didn't help the fact that sorry, I really shouldn't eat sweets when I'm trying to talk. It doesn't really help the fact that I had to go down to Birmingham, put the Peaky Blinders. Yeah, I had to go down to Birmingham on what day was it? Wednesday. Drove down to Wednesday. Drove down to Birmingham on Wednesday. Had to attend an AGM, which was like the dullest thing ever. And yeah, sorry, I'm trying to get trying to get a sweet out my mouth. Anyway, yeah, the AGM was at 3 o'clock to 5, and it was as dull as dishwater. Then we had in their words, an informal dinner. Now, honestly, I think it was 45 quid for the dinner. I didn't pay it, obviously, but it was melon with meat, which I later found out to be parmesan. Is it parmesan? No, not parmesan. Parmesan's bloody cheese. What's the name of that meat you get with melon? Begins with P. Anyway, yeah, you had this melon with some meat, which was a bit odd. Then for main course, what did I have? I had salmon. No, it wasn't pepperoni. What's it called? It's not Parmesan cheese. Oh, what is the hell? It begins with P. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Alex. I was kind of half right. Parma ham, not Parmesan. Yeah, Parma ham. That's what it was. With melon. I had what do you call it? Salmon, and what I later found out was the best way to describe it was if you imagine some boiled potatoes, little boiled potatoes that are a wee bit hard. Imagine mashing them up a wee bit, but not as much as they become mashed potatoes, but they become wee lumpy bits. And then you imagine crushing all that into a bowl as if you're going to make a sandcastle, and then you go like that. So you had this sandcastle of boiled potato things with a bit of salmon and then some green beans, and yeah, it wasn't good. And then the worst bit was the sweet. It was supposed to be what do you call it, apple tart. If you imagine a vanilla slice, you know the vanilla slices you get, you've got the sort of pastry, then you've got the custard, cold custard, and then you've got the kind of pastry on top with some icing. Well, you imagine that pastry. The apple tart was like that, but it was solid, and it had like dry bits of apple on top, and it wasn't horrible, but it was like the most disappointing meal I've ever had in my life, and apparently it was 45 quid. Is it apple? They called it might have been apple strudel, but it was fucking rotten. And because I'd been driving down, I ended up going to my bed about I don't know 8:30. I think I was the kind of first one to bail out, and I just played my my Steam Deck for a bit. In fact, who was it? Was it Mark was asking? By the way, guys, get your questions or your topics. I mean, I have got a topic. I was watching Dale's blog on Sunday, and there was a question asked on that, and I'm going to kind of talk about it. Yeah, Mark's asking, how's the Steam Deck going? I've got to say, Mark, I'm really loving it. It's an awesome bit of kit. It really is. I've hardly played the actual PC games. I've just been using it as an emulator. But honestly, it's as an emulator platform, it's going to take some beating. It really is. I mean, it plays, PlayStation 3. Apparently it plays, you can play Xbox games in it as well. It plays the GameCube flawlessly. It plays the Wii U. Even plays the Switch, for God's sake. It's great. And because the screen is about that size, I don't know what size it is. But it doesn't matter, it's up there. I'm not going to go and dig it out. It's got a beautiful screen. It's great. It really, really is. I mean, I think I said in Discord that I was getting about 2.5 hours battery life. I don't know how much I'm getting. Excuse me. I've not like recorded it. I was just kind of trying to do it from memory. But you know what? It's great. I don't have any regrets. It's a lot of money. It absolutely is a lot of money, but I don't have any regrets about buying it. Especially the fact that I don't know where I am with the Mister. I've not heard anything as to when I'm likely to get it, but I'm not too fussed about the Mister at the moment. I'll get it when it's ready, when I can get one. I think Oxmeister, he was asking what's made you decide to sell off some of the retro collection. It's not a long story. It's one of these things. Every now and again, I get a kind of hankering. I say I'm going to sell stuff off and whatever, and then I kind of go, oh, I'll not bother. But it's a lot of things. I think I'm happy where I am, living wise, house wise, but I am conscious that I would like to move house. I don't know, maybe the next 2-3 years. And the thought of having to move all this shit behind me, especially my 3 main cabinets, it's a bit of thought having all that stuff, thinking I need to move it all. So there's that. It's kind of like just, thinking about the future. I've already moved, had a house move into where I am now, and I've had to move all this shit. And it's a bit of thought. It's a bit of thought having to do it all again. The second reason is I have got so much stuff which I quite simply never, ever, ever use. Now, I'm quite sure probably every single person that's watching this waffle tonight could probably agree with me. We've all got stuff that you buy and you never ever use. I mean, I've got games up there that I've bought brand new, still sealed, never opened them. What is the purpose of that? But I think that after it's when I was down in London about, I don't know, I was in London about a year ago, and I met up with one of the guys, a guy called Lewis, who does watch my channel, and people were going on about this Mister thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's no any better than emulation. It's no better than a PC. It's no better than a Raspberry Pi, running RetroPie. And I wasn't really. I didn't see. I couldn't really figure out what I was going to get for my money. There was nothing. A Mister was going to bring nothing to the table. So I kind of dismissed it, but then when I met Lewis, he was going on about it, and he was trying to explain to me just exactly what it's like. And he says, until you've actually used one and you compare it with something else, you'll realise just how good it is. He says it is the best thing next to owning real hardware. He said you would not know what the difference was at all. So that was about a year ago, and then I decided, right, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to. In fact, I went down to Arcade Club, and there was a few of the lads that were down there who've got Misters, and so I'm just looking at some of these thumbnails for some videos. Anyway, sorry, I should really turn that screen off. Actually, I'll do that so it doesn't distract me the same. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Mister. So a couple of the guys were going on and on and on about how great they are, and I thought, right, you know what, maybe it's time I should have a look into this. Then I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to buy one. And then the Ukraine war came along, and they just became completely, you couldn't get them. You could not get them for love nor money. And then in intervening 12 months or more, they've now the price-wise have gone through the roof. So you'll be thinking, so why are you wanting one now? One of the things that happened fairly recently was, I've mentioned it before, my PC engine. It's the second PC engine that I've got. The first one, it stopped working when my Neo Geo effectively fried it through the SCART cable. I mentioned that before in a waffle. So then I bought another PC engine, which is down there. And then when I went to use it, about maybe 2-3 months ago, I found out that it was only outputting in blue. And one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, one of the guys that watches my channel said that it's not a question of if a PC engine stops working, it's a question of when. He says the way they were manufactured, they've got a limited shelf life. They're going to stop working eventually. So I thought to myself, right, that's 2 PC engines that I've had. 2 of them have stopped working. Do I really want to go and get a third one? Nah, not at all. Especially when I think, I mean, I've got the PC Engine Mini. I've actually got that in my bedroom, and I do play that from time to time. I've also got the PC Engine Duo, I think it's called, which is the CD based one, and it also plays. You can put the card thing in it as well. My God, yeah, this is a long answer, Ox. But anyway, yeah, it just got me. I was thinking about everything, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not getting any younger. I don't play probably 3/4 of the things that I've got now. Coupled with wanting to maybe move house in a few years' time, and I thought, right, you know what? And then the final nail in the coffin, or not nail in the coffin, but Steve Gaiman, Steve made a comment. I think it was my last waffle. He said, all you need is a mister and a Steam Deck, and you're sorted. You're absolutely sorted for stuff. And I thought, yeah, he's absolutely right. So that's what I'm going to do. I was talking to I was talking to Dale when I was driving down to Birmingham actually earlier on this week, and what he was saying to me is an interesting point. He said, what you want to do, he says, your Atari 800, for example, he says it's the 40th anniversary of the Atari, or is it? I can't remember. Anyway, he said I think it's the 40th or 50th anniversary of the Atari. It says people are wanting to buy them. People want Ataris. He says now's the time. Strike when iron's hot. He says now's the time to sell. And as we've all seen on eBay, prices for kind of classic games is just it's crazy. You know, when you look at the price of stuff, you look at the price of a Vectrex. When you look at the price of, I don't know. I mean, what does a Spectrum go for? You know, probably 10 years ago, you'd get a Spectrum for 20 quid. Now, I don't know, you'd be lucky to get one for 50 quid, probably more than that. But yeah, I've got all these systems. I mean, what have I got in that cupboard? I've got an Atari 800. I've got an Atari 400. I've got 2, and I couldn't remember the bloody name of it. What was it? I was trying to remember the name of them. What was the console that became, it was released in America as the Magnavox Odyssey? Not the ColecoVision. I've got a ColecoVision as well, by the way, which I never ever use because the controllers are just like the worst ever. Can't remember the name of them. Anyway, I've got 2 of these machines which I can't remember the name of. I've got numerous other machines. I'm even thinking about getting rid of one of my arcade cabinets. Probably the big Defender cabinet. I mean, I've got 3 cabs. I don't need 3. It's nice to have a third one, but I don't need it. So I'm thinking about putting that up on what you call it, Marketplace. I might even get enough money. I mean, what did I pay? I paid 500 quid for it, and that was about 2 years ago. So I reckon if I was asking about 600 quid for it, which I think is worth it. I mean, I paid 500 quid for it. It depends on people. At the end of the day, some people would look upon that and think it's not worth that, but then people like me would probably think, yeah, I'll have some of that. So yeah, I'm thinking about even trying to offload one of my cabs, because that thing was an absolute bastard to I really need George in here for this one. It was a bastard, absolute bastard to get into the house. It took me and one of my mates to carry it in. So yeah, I'm thinking about getting rid of one of my cabinets, because if I got £500-600 for it, that would effectively pay for a mister whenever I do get it. I'm going to sell my 2 Ataris probably. There's stuff I want to keep. I mean, see, this is it. This is the problem. I think it's one of these things, you either go all out and get rid of everything, or you just keep everything. Because the problem with me is, I'm going to look there and go, well, I want to keep my Commodore 64. I'll keep my Atari. Oh, I'm as well keeping the Spectrum. Well, I want to keep the Mega Drive. I'll keep my SNES. Thing is, I could potentially keep everything that's in here. I mean, what have I got in here? I do play the things that are in this room. The stuff that I never ever play, Atari 800, Atari 400, ColecoVision, all these, I could get rid of them. So yeah, that's pretty much it, Ox. I just, I think now's the time, because Dell kind of hit on a good point. He says you could be sitting thinking, right, I've got an Atari 800 that's maybe worth, I don't know how much they go for, 200-300 quid, something like that. You're thinking you're sitting on that kind of money, and then 2 years down the line you decide, I'm going to sell it, and then you switch it on and it doesn't come on. You're then left with selling something for parts, a bit like that PC Engine. I'm going to have to sell that for parts, because I've not got the ability or the knowledge or the technical expertise to fix it. So yeah, sell stuff while it's still working. Strike while iron's hot. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Excuse me, I'm just having a quick look at the questions. There's another one from Ox. Do you think the value of our retro collections will increase off? Do you think that the value will fall once we all start to pop our clogs and it's left to our kids and the like? I don't know, Ox. I think, excuse me, I think, retro is like any hobby. You're going to get peaks and troughs. At the moment, there's retro gaming seems to be really popular. There's all manner of channels. You've got all your mini systems. They're selling. You can buy all your collections of different things. So, there's even talk. In fact, I think it's been confirmed of the Sharp X68000 Mini. I will be all over that. Like I don't know, something all over something else. Yeah, definitely be into that. But yeah, there's at the moment we seem to be the whole retro kind of scene seems to kind of be mega popular just now. And I always maintain that I think especially rarer stuff. I don't know, rarer stuff like the Vexrex. I think they are only going to continue to grow in price. I don't think they're going to go up much more. I mean, they're going for daft money as it is at the moment. I don't see that changing, but I don't know. I do think to myself, when I kick the bucket and my daughter's in this room, she's going to be looking at all this stuff and thinking, look at all this shit along here. He's got all these little games. I mean, they're worthless. She will not realise that they're actually worth a fair bit of money. So I would rather get rid of them now and get a bit of money, and whether I get a bit of savings or whatever, put it towards something else. Thing is as well, and this is another reason I'm kind of thinking about getting rid of stuff. I've done it. I've absolutely done it. I've owned the original hardware. I don't need to own it anymore. It's nice. It's nice to, I went from, just having a PC and, whatever it was. And then I got a Commodore 64 and a Spectrum. And then my hobby just kind of grew. I got more and more stuff. And it's great. And it's an addiction. Absolutely. It's an addiction. You want to get more stuff. I bought my Sharp X68000. I got an MSX. all these kind of obscure systems, and you just want more and more and more and more. Well, I've got the T-shirt, quite literally, my Atari T-shirt. I quite literally have the T-shirt. I don't have, I've scratched that itch, so to speak. I don't really have any massive ambition about owning original hardware anymore. I should say. I think I would rather just have something that's connected to the CRT. I mean, that's the wonderful thing about the Mister. You can I can connect it to my Sony Trinitron, which is down there. Oh, hang on, there we go. There's my Sony Trinitron. There's Archie. There's my Sony Trinitron. There's my baby Yoda. You see all my machines there. Yeah. You stay there. Aye, I've owned them. I'll be quite happy just to have something nice and easy, something plugged into the TV, and I can play all these systems. You don't have to piss about with. You don't have to worry about you're going to switch it on and it's not going to work. Well, I'm assuming the Mister could technically feel like anything else, but the chances of that failing is going to be pretty slim compared to owning all these things. And as Dell said, the older you kind of go when it comes to hardware, the chances of things failing is going to increase tenfold, I would imagine. Excuse me a little second. Calden saying, what's that? CC Alan also wants to answer the questions. Dell gets. Oh, yeah, Dell seems to be. In fact, this is a fact, and this is awesome. Dell gets his weekly blogs get about 80. They get about, I think Dell says he gets about on average 200 views. My waffles, I don't know. I don't get as much as Dell, so Dell must be doing something right. Let's have a look. What was my last waffle? Well, 201 views it got. Yeah, Dell seems to get a lot more questions than I do, which is fine because I think it's. Oh, by the way, I was. In fact, you know what? Just for a laugh, who wants to see my first ever Friday waffle? Hands up, who wants to see it? And I can share it. The video pack, Ox, that is it. Thank you. The video pack. Yeah, hands up, who wants to watch my first ever waffle? I was trying to find out when I did my first waffle. Sorry, Alex. The chances of me selling the Pytrex right now is next to zero. I won't get rid of my Vectrex at all. That'll 100% be one that I'm going to keep. Right, okay, let's have a look. Let me try and find. Right, there we go. 19. Right, the first ever waffle I did was on the 6th of June 2014. Right, let me have. We don't have to watch it all because you'll be bored rigid. Right, let me just share the screen. Hang on, turn my alarm off. Right, where are we? Yep, it was my first waffle was on VHS. Right, hang on, hide that comment. There we go. Right. By Christ, what a handsome looking devil I was back then. Welcome to another the second Friday waffle. Glad it's the weekend. I'm sure everyone else is glad the weekend's here. I'm looking outside. It looks to me that there would have some. I look naked, which is good. Yeah, I've got a little list of things I want to talk about tonight. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I've got that wrong. That's the second one. Wait a minute. Hang on. Right, there we go. Right, there we are. This is the very first one. Hello, welcome to the first of a new feature. Copying Steve Benway's Friday Talkie, I thought I would do my own sort of Friday waffle. It might not be a Friday, by the way, probably once a week. I mean, looking at the sort of the ratings, not the ratings, looking at the views I get for sort of making different videos. The ones where I actually talk to the camera seem to get the most interest. Not now. I think these are the most interesting ones for other people to watch. I know personally, I do enjoy watching guys talk to the camera so you can see what they look like. You know, you get a bit of a feel about the person, what they're like, what their interests are. It's a bit more interesting than just watching somebody play. Yeah, so, it's one of these things, Mark. You do get used to talking bollocks. Basically. If I've got something in particular I want to talk about, then I'll talk about it. But I think what I'm going to do is just really give a wee bit feedback, or not feedback, but an insight into what I've been up to this week. It was my daughter that did these, Colin. She was about one of the 6 years old. The main things I've been doing, as I mentioned earlier on this week, I think it was, I've managed to sell my small cocktail name card, and one of my mates, Dave, is actually building me a bar top. He actually posted, he sent me a wee picture on Facebook tonight. The card itself is now built. It's basically. No, it was 2014. It's not 28 yet. I'm not that old. The big plus for me is it's going to have 2 joysticks, which means I can now enjoy Robotron the way God intended. And it's also going to have 6 buttons per player, and also a trackball. Now, Dave built himself a full-size meme card, and it's the dog's bollocks. I was through there about 2 weeks ago, and if my card is half as good as Dave's, I'll be a happy man. So yeah, Dave's in the flings of building this. The sort of time-consuming part for Dave is actually getting the thing painted. I think he needs to sand it down, he needs to prime it, and then he sands it, and he's put together multiple coats, sand in between, so that takes time. And he basically relies on decent weather now. Up here in Scotland, it's been virtually pissing down the whole time. It's actually a nice day. Some things never change. So really, the main car progression very much depends on the weather. But it says he's now got it built. It's a question of just getting it painted, and then once he's done that, putting all the gubbins, all the electronic sort of frippery into the machine. Frippery? I think that was a made-up name. Or a made-up word. Well, we've got a retro club on Wednesday, and Dave is hoping to have it ready for Wednesday, but I told him I don't want him to rush it. It'll be, as they say, I don't know, is it Heineken or Caroline or something? Caroline? What the hell are you talking about, you twat? Other things, what I've been doing, because I've reshuffled my games room, I've been putting just things I should have done a long time ago. I've got like beer wires running along. Do you want to watch any more? So I went up to B&Q yesterday. Do you want to watch any more of this? There's and I've got all the cables. It's only 13 minutes. Is that enough? So let me know. Just really trying to tidy the games room up so it's all ready for the arrival of the new car. Other things, game-wise, what have I been playing? I was playing a bit more Commando, the new Commando arcade in the Commodore 64, and really nice. Blimey, did that come out then? Jesus. I got to the 3rd level, I played that for maybe half an hour or something. My daughter and myself have also been playing Overlord, which is a game on the 360. We've been playing it for the last. Somebody did actually ask me, said it'd be fun if I was to do a talkover of a waffle. And we've kind of stopped playing it. So we really need to make a point of getting back. Fuck off, Mr. Morrison. What else have we been playing? We got Super Mario Kart 8. Bastard. On the Wii U. Now, Ava's got the Wii U in a bedroom that belongs to her. So we've been playing a bit of Mario Kart 8, and I've got to say, it's gorgeous. Now, love them or loathe them. Right, I think that's enough. We'll fast forward it. Wonder Swan, he's got everything. 3DO, CDI, he's got everything. And I was at his house maybe 6 months ago, and oh my God, he's got 2 bedrooms, big bedrooms, and they are wall or floor to ceiling with shelves, machines. Right, you're boring us now, mate. I don't know, 18 Vectrex games. So I decided to sell my spare games. Right, that's enough of that bollocks. Telling me race thing. Right, let's come out of that. So that you be money. Quiet. There you go, yeah. So I did the first one in June 2014. Yeah, that's quite a long time. The bad news is, if I was going to do it for 10 years, you've got about another 18 months. I don't know if I can keep it going for another 18 months. I think, I don't know. I do like doing them. I think it depends. I've seen that today. It depends. I had a bit of a shit week at work. And I think, depending on how you're feeling, if you're feeling a wee bit kind of pissed off with stuff, then you're more likely to not be in the mood to do what's going on here. Oh, it's just my sister messaging me. Hi Michelle, how are you? So if you say hi, I'm not going to see it for the next half hour. What am I talking about? What the hell? Michelle's just completely broke my train of thought. Can't remember what I was governing about. Don't know. Yeah, I'm going to play it by ear. I'll play it by ear. I mean, it might be that I end up thinking, right, let's put it to every second week, and I suppose more people are likely to actually want to watch them. I suppose if it's only every 2 weeks. Nah, you know what? I'm just going to quickly. I'm just going to read out. I was going on about should I. What do you call it? Should I give up the waffle? Do people like it? And looking at some of the comments, I mean, Country Roader says, "Don't end the Friday waffle, Alan. I look forward to this every single week. I haven't been commenting much recently, but I've been a long time fan, as you know, about 10 years or so. The Friday waffle's a treat, and we all love hearing you talk about this stuff. Please don't end it." Or as Jimmy Savile would say, please, no, it was called "Don't Leave Me This Way." Don't leave me this way. Highlander is saying, continue to do it. I like the waffle. It's interesting to hear your thoughts and opinions on things. I agree with other commentators. It's probably more appealing when you have the likes of Del Boy, Panther, and Lucosa on the waffle. As it's always great banter. You're basically the 4 horsemen of the retro gaming apocalypse. Steve's Gaming, do I still enjoy the waffle? Yes, for sure I do. I look forward to even if I run out of questions. I can understand you being tired with it after so long. Maybe rather than just drop it totally, you could make it fortnightly or monthly. Of course, the decision is yours, and we're going to watch you regardless of what you do. I tried Power Wash Simulator, and I'll be honest, I was bored with under 15 minutes. Each to their own, I guess. I've not actually played it that much this week. In fact, I've only played it for about 5 minutes. So anyway, yeah, that was that. Ian Hunter, hey Alan, it would be sad to see the end of the waffle, but it's your channel and your choice. If you're still playing guitar, perhaps we could form a band. Cy Turtle says, love the waffle, keep it going, mate. GTB Films, like Monkey, Youth Club, and Cracker Jack. The Friday waffle is part of the Friday night routine. Kids to bed, Chinese takeaway with a bottle of wine, bit of telly, then the Mainmeister Friday waffle with a whiskey. That's awesome. I actually like the fact that I've become a bit of a routine in people's life. I was well disappointed last week when it was delayed. The best ones are generally when you have someone else on and there's a bit of banter. I think not necessarily gaming banter either. I rewatched you and Lucosa discussing the imminent COVID pandemic in March 2020 the other day, and it was interesting to see how we all viewed the situation based on the information available. That'd be quite interesting actually to hear that. Without a crystal ball, it's impossible to know when you discuss something that's going to be hugely significant later on, of course. Craig Ferguson, I would miss the Friday waffle. I don't normally catch it live, but generally watch it within a day or so. Brian, see, I always look forward to the Friday waffle. Now I'm going to show you something here. there is, I'll need to share the screen again. Hang on. There we go. Right, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to get rid of me for a second. Hopefully you can still hear me. That's the very, very first Friday Waffle. And you go down and there's the comments. Brian C. Wednesday Waffle sounds good. Looking forward to seeing your new meme cab. Binary Zoo. He used to make games. I can't remember what games he made. Yeah, he used to comment quite a lot. I've not seen him for a while. Evo Haler, don't recall him. I built a small bar top out of an old laptop. Mark Patterson, another one. Yeah, I do remember him from back in the day. I don't blame you for selling the LCDs. I built up a big collection several years ago and displayed them in a bookcase, but didn't really play them. He just gathered dust, so I stuck them in a cupboard and realised that there was no point in having them anymore. Well, I've obviously gone out and bought them again. And there's Steve Benway commenting, yep, I enjoy this video. Get me back in again. Right. So, yeah, there we go. Brian C. commented on the very first Waffle. And fast forward to last week, he still looks forward to the Friday Waffle. And I thought, great, that's a massive compliment. And then he hit me with this bit. The intro music is the best bit. Be sad to see it go, but if your heart is not in it, then there is no point. For anyone who's missed any of the Waffles in the last 10 years, I'll sum them up. What have I been doing this week, gaming-wise? Not a lot. Have a great weekend, and thank you very much for watching. Brian probably knows more about my my channel than I do. There was once a great rant about the price of butter. Had me glued to the screen. I don't even remember that. So, Alan, go with your heart. And as always, thank you very much for reading this comment. Claxon Cow, you got a full Steam Deck. Jambo and hi, Al. I love the Waffles. Thanks, but I find it easiest to listen to the podcast versions, which is why I don't comment so often. It's your channel, though, and your time. So if you don't feel like doing one in a certain week, then you shouldn't feel obliged. Also, we're all drowning in content. For want of a better word, sorry. Yep, there's all these other pesky YouTubers like Delboy and Steve and Robert and Panther and all these other people. They're putting out much fresher stuff. LFC Gamer, they're all putting out much fresher stuff than I'm doing. Maybe I should retire, I don't know. We're all doing content, maybe doing them less frequently would make them feel more special, like when we had to wait a month for the next magazine. Would give you more time for gaming. Another idea might be to have, say, a quarterly live stream with special guests that we could look forward to and make time for and watch along with a pint like we were in the pub. I was saying to Dell whatever day it was, that I'm actually coming round to. I'm going to take that off. Remove that. I'm actually thinking of doing more podcasts. I mean, the Friday Waffle is effectively a podcast. Apart from you get to see me, having my face in it brings absolutely nothing to the table at all. The problem I've got, and I've done a lot of these, chums talk pish and blind mates only. I've done a lot of these where you've got people. I've done a lot of these videos where you've got, I'm talking to people. Sorry, that was some scratch on my leg. And the problem with StreamYard that I use for doing the Waffles is it's not great when it comes to audio. It's fine when it's just me talking, but if somebody else talks, then if two people talk at once, then it can only pick up one sort of audio stream at any one time, and you end up getting a point where you can both be talking over each other and you don't hear what's been said. Whereas if you're doing a podcast, whether it's over a telephone, whether it's over, Facebook Messenger, whatever, it flows a lot better. You're not having to kind of sit and wait for that person to stop talking. You can have two people almost talking at once. So I might do that. I might actually start doing more podcasts. I'd still put it on Facebook or put it on YouTube, but I'd just have like a static screen, something like that. Yeah. Just need to tell you think about it. So I'm going to have a quick look. Now, the point of doing these live streams is that people can ask you questions live. There's that kind of interaction now. It doesn't help if I don't actually read the comments. Let's have a wee look. Right, I've already answered Oxy's one. Oh, very good. Dale's here all week, folks. What meat did you have to eat in the Midlands? Birmingham. Should be fucking Birmingham. Yeah, he's here till Thursday, folks. There's a question from Ox. Right, LFC's asking, what is your stance with pineapple on pizza? Let's get a debate going. I've had it, but I'm not a huge fan of it. If I'm being honest, I don't mind it, but it's not something. I actually had a pizza tonight, double pepperoni with cheese, but I got one from the local kind of, takeaway place. Really, really nice. Not a massive fan of it. I'll tell you a funny story. About 20 years ago, when I was back home living with my dad, my mum had passed away at that point, and my dad, bless his cotton socks, he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best cook in the world, and I can't say anything because I am completely pants at cooking. I don't cook. I'm, beans and toast, baked potatoes is about my limit. But my dad, I would come home from work and he would make something, and a lot of the time he'd be like, "Oh, it's not very nice." And I came home and I said, "What's for dinner, Dad?" He went, "Oh, I've made pizza." I went, "Oh, right, okay, that's good." He says, "What was it? Ham and pineapple." I thought, "Oh, right, that's fine." he took it out of the oven, and it was covered in this goo. There's like liquid. White liquid. I'm like, what the hell's that? He goes, I didn't have any pineapple, so I put lemon yogurt over it. I'm like, ugh. He went, oh, just eat it, it's lovely. And he sat and guzzled it, and I'm like, I'm not eating that. Then a pizza with lemon yogurt. Oh, bless him. But yeah, I'm not a fan. If I'm going to get pizza, it's always going to be double pepperoni. Every time. It's the law. Hang on, I'm just trying to scroll down. Yeah, Ox is saying there he would use his gaming stuff more often if he converted a spare room and put it all out in benches with their own displays. I mean, I'm not bad. I mean, I've only got 2 screens here, but I've got everything's kind of connected up to it. Right, Dell's asking, it's Atari's 50th year celebration this week. What would be your own high and low points of Atari ownership and gameplay? I never had the Atari 2600. Never, always wanted one, but my mum and dad would never buy me one. But I think the original Atari 800, I mean, I know it's come out in various guises. You had the original tank version, which I call it, because it was like solid, it had all this steel in it. What do you call it? Let me think. They've obviously brought out the Atari XL. There's the XE, the XE65, the XE130, I think it is. So they all play. They're all compatible with the Atari 800. But yeah, I just think the Atari 800 was a fantastic computer. I mean, I know the C64 came along after, it had better sound, but the Atari was such a revolutionary machine. I mean, it came out in like the late 70s, I think, and it just absolutely awesome. I really do think that if it hadn't been for Atari, I don't think we'd be where we are now. Obviously, Atari, like Commodore, I mean, they I don't know, I think the demise of Atari was when they rushed. I think they rushed the Atari ST out, and then Amiga came along and just stole its thunder. The Amiga was virtually everything that the Atari ST was, but it did it better. It was faster, it had more colours, it had better sound. Even the Commodore 6, I'm saying even, like that's a bad thing. The Commodore 64 had better sound than the Atari ST. So the Atari ST, I think if they just maybe, I don't know, if they just maybe taken a bit more time and got it right, then things might have been different. And then, of course, they brought out the Falcon, which died to death. Excuse me. And then, of course, we had the Atari Jaguar, which was touted as a 64-bit machine. Whereas in hindsight or in reality, I don't think that the Atari Jaguar was really much more powerful than a SNES or a Mega Drive. But yeah, I mean, I think the high point of Atari would be probably the Atari 2600. I mean, you know, they brought interchangeable gaming to the masses. You could go to your arcade game, your local chippy. You could play Asteroids. You could play Missile Command, Berserk, Space Invaders, Pac-Man, you name it. You could play these games at home, and that was all thanks to Atari. I know it wasn't the first interchangeable gaming system. I can't remember what it was called. There were other ones, but the Atari 2600, whilst I never actually owned one, I mean, I've got two now, I think it is. It was a game changer, an absolute game changer. You know, like I said, it brought the arcade home, because prior to stuff like that, we were just playing all these wee handhelds, you know. So that would probably be the highlight. And I said Atari 800 is a fantastic machine. I'm still, it's a very, very close run thing. When people say to me, what is the best, what is your favourite 8-bit machine? I would probably go for the Commodore 64. It would just edge it, but the Atari would be a close second. I love the Atari, really cracking machine. So that would be the high of Atari. The low would probably be, I don't know. The low of Atari would probably be, I don't know, when after Atari stopped being a thing, you know, the lawyers owned Atari. It's the same like the Amiga and the Commodore. They're not even owned by people that want to make games. So yeah, to see kind of people, I mean, I've got my Atari t-shirt on. You see kids wandering about with Atari t-shirts, and they probably haven't a clue what it stands for. They don't understand. When you look at any like Atari machine, and you flip it around and you look at the label, it will say Sunningvale, California, and that was the place. That's where you wanted to be back in the day. So anyway, Dale, thank you for that, mate. Let's have a look. I'm just going down the questions. Oxy saying, I must admit, if I had to get rid of some of mine, there would be a core of machines I would still keep, i.e. the ones I owned originally back in the day. And as he correctly says, a video pack, yeah, I've got 2 video packs, never played any of them. LFC is saying there he's been offloading some of his collection. I have a GameCube but rarely use it, so I'm thinking of parting ways with it. Yeah, I don't see the point of hanging on to stuff. Alex is wanting to buy my Pytrex. That's not going to happen, Alex, unfortunately. Steve saying that he's run out of gaming-related waffle questions. Yeah, I mean, don't worry about it, Steve. It doesn't even have to be gaming-related. Mark, whatever, I was going to ask the same, but was afraid I might be too cruel a question. Do you have hair? Absolutely, I have hair. Don't know if you can see that. I do have hair. I would have a full head of hair all the way around there. But I chose to shave my head when I split up from an ex. Used to cut my hair. She was a hairdresser. I just thought, right, you know what? I'm just going to shave my head. And I've been shaving my head now or shaving my hair, I should say. I've been shaving my head. I've been shaving my hair for about 23 years, I think. Yeah, and I don't think I can't see myself ever going back. I mean, going back to having hair. When it gets about 3 or 4 days, I'm like, it's time for a ponytail. I need to get rid of that. Yeah, Alex. I don't know where you're getting it. That I'm one of the longest running content creators on YouTube. I don't think YouTube's been going for 28 years. Yeah, I've been going for it since 2013. LFC saying there, yep, did Right Said Fred decide to put in a Scottish accent? Yeah, I've not heard that one much. Calden say, I don't normally like facial hair on guys, but it works for Alan. Yep, it hides my weak chin. Thank you very much, Calden. That's very kind of you. Dell saying it was when razor blades were cheap. That's the thing about razor blades. I mean, they fucking cost a fortune. If I'm going to use razor blades, I've got, is it Harry's are called? Quite good. You get like one of them has like 4 blades. That's what I tend to use. Colden saying, according to the dictionary, frippery is a real word. It means showy or unnecessary ornament in architecture, dress, or language. So I wasn't actually wrong. There's Paul being a cheeky bastard with my Jimmy Somerville comparison. Right, Alex asking a question here. What would you say have been the biggest differences in the retro gaming scene since you started on YouTube? Seems to be the collectors are just getting older, or youngsters are trying to do the hobby. I don't know. There's a lot more people making content. There's a lot of people now getting into the whole collecting scene. You know, I was collecting. I've never classed myself as a collector. I always think a collector is somebody who buys things just to have in their collection. I've bought stuff because I want to play it. Does that differ from being a collector? I don't know. But I've never bought anything just to have for collector's sake. I've always bought it because I kind of want to have it. Maybe I'm a collector. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of channels out there now that they're starting off and I'm kind of almost thinking, yeah, that was me, 10 years ago. Maybe I've just been making YouTube videos for too long. I've been, there's who else have we got? We've got Steve Benway. He was one of the first. He's been doing it since, I don't know, since YouTube kind of became a thing. You've got Lawn Boys Post. He's been making videos quite a bit longer than myself. But yeah, I'm certainly one of the kind of longest going for a lot longer. I mean, when I started, there was a right kind of wee community, people that I knew. I used to meet at Play Blackpool and that. There was loads of people, and over the intervening years, a lot of them have disappeared. There's not many that started all these years ago are still going. There's still a few. Don't get me wrong, but what's changed? I think it's just that the hobby now has become so much more mass market. Yeah, and and I'm not one of these snobs. Like, you get people who they get into a hobby, and then when it starts getting popular, they become really, really anal about it, and like, oh yeah, they're just like newbies, whatever. I'm not like that about the hobby, but I have been into YouTube and emulation, not YouTube as such, but I've been into emulation longer than most people. There's not many people that have been playing emulators longer than me. I mean, I started collecting emulators and ROMs from about as soon as the internet became a thing, 1997, I think I got my first internet connection. I was downloading ROMs from like Dave's Video Game Classics and all these places. I couldn't wait for the next version of MAME. It would come out, it would tell you next week there's a new version of MAME coming out and it's going to support Yar Kung Fu and Rolling Thunder, and you were so excited about getting it. So yeah, I've been collecting ROMs and what have you for a long time, and now maybe I'm just getting a wee bit too long in the tooth. But yeah, I think it's become a lot more mass market because you've got all these mini systems, and it's like anything, it just becomes saturated, and that's not a bad thing. I'm never ever going to say, there's too many people, because everybody's entitled to have a channel. At the end of the day, I mean, I think I don't think I'd be wrong in saying that Robert, Steve, and Delboy, they all, and Panther as well, they all started off watching my channel, and over the period they decided I'm going to start it. And I think I'd be right in saying that these guys have actually felt the benefit in making their own content, because it gives you it gives you a hobby, it gives you an interest, people comment on it, and it also kind of helps your confidence, definitely. So I mean, there's obviously younger people as well, and yeah, I think you'll tend to find that it's the older people like myself that have probably got the collections, because there's no way that I could have afforded to buy all the stuff that I've got now. It just costs too much money. I mean, Steve Benway, he's been collecting for like years, and he got even stuff like the Jupiter Ace. They go for like 200 quid. He got his for like 15 quid or something. No, because nobody was interested 20 years ago. Nobody was interested in buying, old machines. I remember the biggest. Well, I've picked up a few bargains over the years. Don't know how long ago. Maybe 10 years ago, I got my Atari 800, my Atari 400. Was it one or two disc drives? I think it just had one disc drive, 2 tape decks, discs, books, you name it. And I got that for, I think it was about 100 quid for all these machines. I got a Vectrex Plus, I think it was 11 games, boxed games. I got that for 100 quid. That's because I was buying it back then. Nowadays, it would cost an absolute arm and a leg. Gordon was saying that Alan was playing Mario Kart 8 back then. I think his video games have gone backwards in time as time has gone forwards. I doubt he's played a 21st century game in 2022. Calden says he likes a Friday waffle in his Bluetooth headphones while mowing the lawn and doing outside chores. Right, another question from Ox. As the retro tag is constantly being assigned to new old systems, would you consider showing new platforms like PC games? For example, Deus Ex, Quake. No, I don't think so, Ox. I mean, I've dabbled in making videos about like this. I mean, God forbid, I done a video of a SNES game about 2 years ago, and I think I was lucky if I got 50 views. My core audience want to see me playing old games. Simple as that. They don't want to see me playing modern games. I don't actually have much of a. I don't have a lot of nostalgia for PC games. So no, excuse me. I mean, I will play the very occasional modern game just because I think, oh, this is a fantastic game. I want to share it. I want to let people make people aware of the game. But no, I've come to realize people don't want to see me playing modern games. People watch my channel. They want to see me playing 8-bit games, 16-bit games. It's got to be Amiga, Commodore. That's my platform. And I think you've got to. That's my audience. You've got to kind of find your audience and give them what they want. Delboy is my dog walking vlog. Mainmeister Friday Waffle is my mowing the lawn vlog. And Dell says there, so Mainmeister is your productive blog of choice, and Dell Boys is when the dog wants a shit. Fantastic. Steve saying there, you dare retire, I'll get in a bus to Scotland and shit on your doorstep. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You know what I'm like, Steve? You've known me long enough. You've known that I make all these hollow threats. Ox is saying there, God, it seems to be Ox putting out everything at the moment. I had a thought the other day there. How about getting together with other retro streamers to do a 12 days of retro Christmas music video? 12 days of Christmas retro music video for charity. What do you mean by that, Ox? I'm not quite with you. 12 days of retro Christmas music. You know what? Right. Sorry, I'm looking at the comment down below. Just quickly. Yeah, I will do this. Absolutely. I might actually get the calendar done. I might actually do it tomorrow. I've got all the photographs taken. It's just a question of actually getting the thing. I have been talking about it for such a long time. So yeah, I promise you, Colin, I will get that calendar done. I'll do it this weekend, and then I'll find out who wants a copy of it, and then I'll order up X number, and then you can just they'll all come to me, and then you guys can give them the money, and I'll get them sent out. I'm not. You're not expanding that, Ox. I'm not quite sure what you mean. 12 days of retro Christmas music for charity. I will be doing my. It's the law. I always do my Christmas. It's usually my Christmas Eve video with Lone Boys Post, and I don't. Excuse me. I don't see any reason where that should change. Lone Boys Post, Dave, he has got so much enthusiasm for Christmas, like you would not believe. It's contagious, honestly. So you look. Calden saying Atari did rush the ST because they thought they had the rights to the Amiga, but Amiga found a better deal with Commodore at the last hour. Atari wanted to get a higher spec computer out before Amiga. Yeah, I think I do remember that actually. Yeah, Paul saying as soon as Infogrames got a hold of Atari, it lost everything for good. Yeah, definitely. Mark's asking, question Al, which real Amiga hardware model do you have? Did you upgrade it? Actually, did you upgrade many of your retro stock? I've got an Atari 12. I've got a Commodore 1200. It's a budget expansion port. I think I've got. I'm trying to think. Is it 16 mega RAM, something like that? And it's an accelerator. It does accelerate. It's not like the expensive ones. It cost. I think it was about £100 about 10 years ago. So it's great. It is upgraded. But no, I don't really. If you say upgrade, I mean, I'll try and get an SD card solution for things like that. But no, I don't. I tend not to carry upgrade stuff. Yeah, Ox is saying there. Steve Benway bought most of his stuff for peanuts as he got his years before the retro collecting thing exploded. Absolutely. And Calden, oh my god, I feel happy right now. We've got the Friday waffle on, and I can smell matzo ball soup cooking in the kitchen. I'm in a happy place. Paul saying, I've just had a look, and I put my first video on YouTube in 2011. I've hardly uploaded any though. I can't do stuff like intros, and my house is too busy, noisy for me to do commentary. Good evening, Yurley. How are you? I'm well. Hope you're well. Me old mucker. LFC said that I've had my channel since 2013, but it wasn't until 2015-16 when I first uploaded anything. Had to private and delete some of my earlier vids since I hated them. Yeah, I mean, when I watch some of my earlier videos, they're awful. But you know what? We've all got to start somewhere. Colin saying that I discovered this channel through the Coders channel. Then from the Maymeister channel, I discovered a great community. This channel is like the hub of friendship and awesomeness. Yeah, you know what? That's a lovely, lovely comment. And I never ever want this thing to feel like it's, nobody can come along. No, like newbie should ever come along here and think they're isolated or they're not part of it. Yeah, there is a great community of people, but everybody's welcome. Absolutely. Just having a wee look. Any other questions? Yeah, Michelle said there, this is going to be controversial or controversial, but I think when it comes to YouTube gamers, it's as much as the person playing the games rather than the games themselves. Absolutely. Because I wouldn't be making when I do my Sunday live stream, I'm pish at most games. I mean, half the games I've never played before. And I usually fumble about like a incompetent buffoon. But that's the thing. People enjoy the experience, they enjoy watching the person struggling and whatever. There is nothing more dull than watching somebody competently playing a game. It's like just yawn fest. So thank you, Michelle. That is very kind of you. Well, I presume that's a compliment. If you were to record yourself playing Quake and enjoying it, then what's wrong with that? Yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm never going to say never, but I do know that my audience likes me playing old games. Usually, the worse games, the better, and the older, the better as well. Yeah. Right, Dell's question for you. If you sold all your old equipment, do you think you would do your videos on a Mister or continue on a piece under emulation? I would possibly look into a Mister Dell, but I think I would just continue under PC. It's a lot simpler. But I might dabble with the old capture card thing. Gordon's saying there, Michelle, I'm actually in 100% agreement with your sentiment. It's the players that matter more than the game. A good streamer playing crap games is better than a bad streamer playing a gem. Yeah, well, it's suffice to say, if it was down to gaming prowess, then nobody would watch my stuff. Just when you think you're actually at the bottom of the comments, it suddenly goes woof. Good evening, Ian. I took your advice and watched Micromen on YouTube. I was thinking it would be fantastic if you managed an interview with Chris Curry. That would be good. That's maybe something I need to. Evening, Colin. That's something I need to think about. My most popular video was in 2007 with 1.8 thousand views and 26 likes. The Mega Demo Bar Brian. Yeah, I always get good views when it comes to demos. Right, listen, I've kind of been twattling on long enough for an hour and 12 minutes. I did have a topic I was going to talk about, but I think I'm going to keep that for next week. I'm just going to work my way through the any questions from last week. I don't think there's many questions. I've kind of read most of them. Yeah. I was just going on about that. Hang on a second. Right, Steve's Gaming. Oh. Right, do I still enjoy the waffle? Yeah. Right, 2 questions for you. What was the last science fiction film you watched, and what was the last sci-fi based game you played? Science fiction film, probably. I was going to say, I've been watching the Obi-Wan Kenobi, yeah, from Disney. I've been watching that. The last science fiction film. I'm trying to think. You know what? I couldn't even tell you the last film I watched. I don't watch a lot of films. I'm trying to think. I watched Star Wars about 6 months ago, but I must have watched some other science fiction-y thing. Like I said, I've been watching Obi-Wan. I watched The Mandalorian. I will be watching, what's it called? Andor. I will be watching that. I've been hearing a lot of good things. I've been watching the new Game of Thrones. Well, that's got nothing to do with science fiction. I'm trying to think. It might well be Star Wars. I mean, that's I really, really don't watch a lot of films. I just can't. I can't actually think. Number 2, firework night is upon us again. I might be an arse, but I feel like fireworks should not be sold to general public anymore. What's your opinion on this? I've made no. I've never hidden the secret, Steve, that I detest. No, I don't detest fireworks. I actually like proper firework displays where they're done, professionally. But I absolutely detest the fact that effectively dynamite is sold to the public. You got all these arseholes buying them from Morrison's. They're letting them off 2 weeks before, Hug Mini. They're letting them off 2 weeks prior to bonfire night. My dogs are absolutely terrified. The only good thing is this little guy here. Hopefully you'll see him. This wee guy here, Archie. He is now as deaf as a doornail. He's getting old, and he's virtually deaf. So the good thing is it means he doesn't actually hear the fireworks, which is good. But yeah, I can't stand them. I'm not actually a fan of loud noises. I was talking to Dale we're talking about caps. Now, caps were little things that you could put in a gun and you fired them. Now, if anybody remembers, you had caps that were on paper and they were in a roll, and you put them in your gun and you fired the gun and it would bang them. But you got these other ones. It was like around the bullets. You had like a little plastic thing, and it had like 6 caps, and you put them into the. I'll show you cute. There's my other dog. Look at this. Look at the state of that. Jax. 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 He's out for Britain. What was I talking about? Yeah, you had these little round caps, and you put them in these tiny little guns, and they were really loud. And a friend of mine, when I don't know what age I'd be, about 10 years old, he put it right up to my ear and fired it. And to this day, I wouldn't say I'm partially deaf. I don't think I'm deaf at all, but the hearing in that ear is definitely dulled compared to that one. And that was because of that. And because of that, I hate explosions. I even see if somebody's got a balloon and they're going to burst it, I'm kind of like that. I've got my eyes kind of shut waiting for them to burst it. I hate loud noises. So yeah, at 100%, I think fireworks we shouldn't sell them to the public. There's no reason for them. They're dangerous. There's nothing. I think Dale actually he summed it up better than I could ever sum it up. Why we shouldn't have fireworks. There's no reason to have them now. Stick to any, professional exhibitions. So I hate the things. So thank you, Steve. Let's see. I don't think there's no more questions from there. I don't think there's any other questions. Oh, hang on. Milfy Swinbuckle. Now, I don't know if... no, I've not answered this. As a youngster, I used to get a lot of pirate games. This is all well and good, but if the game turned out to be complex in some way, then you would have to work out the instructions, controls, or what you had to do. A lot of the times, I felt this actually made me appreciate a game more. Excuse me. So my question is, what complex game have you worked out yourself that you enjoy and might even feel you enjoyed more because of this? As an example, here are some pirated games I played in the past. Excuse me. And I worked out games that I still really love. Knights of the Sky, Slam Tilt, don't remember that. Jimmy White's Snooker, Ultima 5 to name but a few. Yeah, I think Jimmy White's Snooker, I hate to say, but I had a pirate copy of that and I did figure it out. Populous was another one. The Amiga, I did buy games, but when the local outdoor market started selling them, I just used to get all my games. You could buy like you were getting like one game for £5 rather than £40. So yeah, stuff like Populous, Populous 2, Megalomania. Yeah, it always was nice when you managed to figure out a game. But the problem was a lot of the games that were overly complicated, unless you had the instructions, and a lot of the time I simply couldn't. I mean to say, I would just give up because it was too complicated, and and that leads on to a topic that I'm going to talk about next week. So yeah, good question, Milfy. Excuse me. LFC, no, I don't think there's any questions there. Right, down the rabbit hole. Hi, Alan. Unlike a few that have commented, I'm not a fan of live stream waffles. I like the classic format. Oh, it's good that some people like the old format, Kev. You've considered stopping before, so my vote would be keep going until you've reached the 10-year anniversary, which is going to mean June 2024. And then ask yourself if it still feels like a burden. If yes, then it's time to end it. If no, keep on going, but only if you really enjoy it. I like your notion of maybe still doing the occasional waffle if you have something to say, not necessarily weekly. That might be the best compromise. There's no actual question. By the way, if you're running out of things to say, switching to a podcast really is the best idea. Yeah, I need to give it a thought. You know what I'm like? I say I'm going to do things and then I never actually do. One switch is saying, I enjoy your rambles whilst I'm working, sometimes boring and sometimes not, just like most people, up to you, of course. And I replied, that was my concern. It becomes dull it becomes dull and uninteresting, and you've kind of affirmed my fears. Then one switch replies, Mainmeister, I don't know what that says about me because it's my favourite thing you do. I like slow TV though, so sometimes no more boring than that fishing program with Bob Mortimer and Paul Whitehouse. Right, I get what you mean. Yeah. As I said, I've always enjoyed the ramble. I think that's what people enjoy, just listening to people talking shite. Charlie Angel, I enjoy the Friday Waffle, Alan. Please continue. Agree with you about smartphones. I really find it so rude. Having said that, I'm probably just out of touch. Ox, just my opinion, but I think the waffles work better as a live stream as people can chuck a question at you and answer yours. Absolutely, as Ox has just demonstrated with all his questions. And finally, Charlie Farr is saying here, Friday waffle, what's that? Here's a silly idea. Put commentary over an old waffle and see if you agree with a 9-year younger, wet behind the ears Alan. You mean like we did earlier on, Charlie? Yeah. Right, listen, folks. I'm going to wrap this up. I think that's quite enough of me talking shite. It's funny how I can actually talk more openly when I'm doing these live streams, whereas when you're just in front of a camera or behind a camera, in front of a camera, I tend to kind of dry up. I don't know. Anyway, listen, you guys have a great weekend. I will be along as always on Sunday. 7 till 9. I'll need to have a wee think about. I don't know what I'm going to put out. What the topic's going to be. I'm actually down in Birmingham. The fucking Peaky Blinders. I'm down in Birmingham on Monday. Driving down to Birmingham. In fact, just a quick one. Do any of you guys live in Birmingham? Are any of you guys within driving? Now, bear in mind, I'm going to have driven for 6 hours. So when I'm in a hotel, I don't want to drive. If anybody is in or around Birmingham on Monday night, give me a shout, hit me up, as they say, and we'll get together for a beer. Yeah, that would actually be quite good. So yeah, I'm down in Birmingham Monday, back Tuesday night, and yeah, I will try and get some content put out. So, and listen, guys, I am waffling quite enough. I will get the calendar done. I promise you, I'll get it done over the weekend, and I'll let you know how much it's going to cost, and you can let me know who wants one. Maybe put a comment down below. Let me know if you're interested in a calendar, because yeah, you're going to obviously want them for Christmas. So finally, guys, I'm waffling quite enough. Have an excellent weekend, and as always, folks, thank you very, very much for watching. See you.